Back to another, I'll tell you another UFC champ. Day of the fight, technically, since it's one day is how I am. We got Max Holloway versus Aaron, or Arnold Allen. I know I said Aaron, but Arnold fucking Allen, mates. The man with them steel hands. Man who was fighting, once a year or about once a year. I mean, 2021, one day a year. 21 time a year. Before that, I mean, a lot of this had to do with, as he's already said, with injuries and the COVID situation, all that other bullshit. But even before that, he had canceled fights. So even in 2019, just one fight. 17, one fight. That's fucking crazy. 2016, one fight. Let's see, 15, one fight. Damn. I don't know where he's getting his money, but man wasn't fighting for a hot minute. But if he can get this dub right here, he, as in double A, Aaron Arnold, can get himself in position for a title shot. Because, I mean, most people probably thought that he already deserved that title shot, or, whatchamacallit title shot. Where was Josh Emmett versus Yair, which that fight out, Yair ended up winning, and now they got that. He has the holder belt. Why the fuck am I forgetting the damn title's name? Interim belt. For God's sakes, couldn't get the goddamn word out. But yeah, interim belt. But yeah, so he got himself the interim belt as Yair. 3 Mexican title holders at the moment, and yet they ain't going to Mexico. I don't even know where they're going for that. Alexander Volkanovski. I don't see Alexander getting beat, but Yair's jiu-jitsu game is looking pretty nice, so that could happen. So Arnold Allen, I don't know why I keep saying Aaron. This ain't Attack on Titans out here. But Arnold Allen, man's got them hands, and what's his name could take some shots, as in Max Holloway, and Arnold can give them shots. I don't believe they'll bring it up all the fucking time. Max Holloway just doesn't get dropped, and he's probably not going to get dropped. Actually, who knows? Maybe I just jinxed it and it happens. I was just actually watching the Calvin Keita versus Arnold Allen fight, or Keita versus Max Holloway fight, and that didn't, if y'all seen that fight, that didn't go too well for old boy Keita. Doesn't seem like much is going too well for Keita these days. During that Dan Hooker fight, holy smokes, Arnold Allen was just giving him those are some of the flushest shots I've seen to the face of any fight ever, or any fight that I've ever watched. Just when they would land, they would hit. There was like a thud or a slap to every single shot he would fucking land, and it was like, damn. This fight can't last much longer, and eventually it didn't last much longer, and that was pretty much the end of that one. I don't have a clear prediction, because Max Holloway has just been so dominant against every other fighter except, we all know, Alexander Volkanovski. And Volkanovski said during one of them fights he was dealing with a bad weight cut or whatever. Other UFC news and stuff. Obviously, the big time Israel Adesanya knockout of Alex Pereira. That shit just shook up the whole sports scene, not just MMA. I don't believe I've ever seen, well, sports wise, like, somebody, the team that wins the Super Bowl or an NBA championship, it's all over the place, but it was as big, I would say, people like Drake and, a bunch of stars showed up to the event, plus it was Jorge versus Gilbert Burns or Afro Burns, and just a good fight all around, to be honest. As in the main event. I mean, then you had Chris Curtis, and you had the Rosas Jr. hype train shut down for now. I believe he could have found a way to win that one, but that was he could have found a way to win that one, but that was more, if he would have, I don't know, wouldn't have done too much in a way in that first round, because he was at second and third, he just kept trying to do way too much, as in Rosas Jr. doing way too much against Christensen, so now he, like I said, in a way there can, obviously be one winner. Christensen either has a couple more fights, gets cut, or Raul Rosas Jr. gets the dub and the train keeps on going. He is only 18 and his wrestling is still good. In a way, people are somewhat were, as in Dana White and other people, like, difference between man strength and kid strength and all that. I guess there's something there, but at the same time, nobody would have said shit if Rosas Jr. would have won. They were just being like, oh, this kid's this and that and this and that, and nobody would have said anything, pretty much, is what I'm trying to say. But he ended up getting his first L, which ain't nothing wrong with it. He just looked out of it, and during the second and third round, he was pretty much beat up in that fight, I guess you could say. Already talked about the Israel thing. Alex Pereira, after the knockout, he's getting a 60-day suspension, so he's going to be out for 60 days, and then he's going up to the light heavyweight division. He's not gonna, I don't believe that he's gonna get a title shot automatically, but he should get somebody. I believe he's gonna get somebody in the top 15. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't, but if he doesn't, I don't think he's gonna give too much of a shit, because he'll most likely end up putting himself in that top 15 position without that weight cut. Maybe we see a much more dominant Alex Pereira, and who knows, maybe he gets the title and Israel Adesanya goes up and tries to face him for that title. But damn, I don't know, if it were to go to lightweight, I'd probably see Alex Pereira end up winning that. Then again, it's still here and there. But then again, Eugene Battleman, Israel coach, did say that he's ready for Jamal Sweet Dream Hill. And Jamal, I don't know if he wants that, to be honest. Well, not him. I don't know. Eugene seemed like he was kind of being sarcastic, to be honest, if you watched that interview with Submission Radio, because the guys were asking some questions, and he was like, it was kind of weird, to be honest, at the very end of that whole interview. So I don't know if he was serious or not, because he has faced for the light heavyweight title already with Jan Blachowicz, and we also how that went. Jan's wrestling was just not too great or anything. It was just more the strength, to be honest. The strength just kind of took it away from him, or just didn't let him have it, I guess. I don't know, that was a bad explanation, but he kind of just put him on the ground the whole time. But back to UFC Fight Night, which is tonight. Barbosa's back, baby. Barbosa's back. Edison Barbosa one of them Brazilians. He was, I tell you, he was on a run. A while back, he comes back against Billy Quarantillo, or Quarantillo. I'm pretty sure I'm fucking up his name. Quarantillo, or whatever. Dang, there's a fight that didn't happen, a council fight. Edison Barbosa vs. Erete Porcha. With Taporia would have win that fight. After Bryce Mitchell ended up beating Barbosa, Bryce Mitchell went on the train and just everything just kind of started popping off for him. And then Elita Portia ended up beating Mandem, Bryce Mitchell. One fight that I actually didn't catch today was PFL. I was like, oh, I'm gonna, catch this. Shane Burgos was actually on this card. Speaking of him, Edison Barbosa has a win over Shane Burgos. Shane Burgos ended up, I guess, losing his PFL debut, but still, he's getting good money around that PFL. So in a way, I believe Shane was actually facing the person who won the $1 million for PFL last year. But man, Edison Barbosa's last fights have kind of been where he's somewhat been through a gauntlet all day. He's been through a gauntlet. Like Bryce Mitchell, Illy he was gonna face. Even Dan Ige, I guess you could say. Gigi Chicante, Shane Burgos, all those guys. 2019, what we got? Paul Feather, Justin Gaethje, 2019. That's a pretty big list of, you could say, top guys from the MMA. I'm not sure if I've actually watched a Billy Quarantillo fight. I probably have. He's one of those fighters that, you're like, you don't know if you've watched one of his fights and then you end up putting on the fucking fight and you're like, oh shit, I've seen lads fight already, what am I talking about? Then Justin Jacoby, light heavyweight division, Azmat Markazanov. I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce his name and all, but man is 12-0. For a second I thought Mandem was newer, but apparently he isn't. He's just, I don't know how I've missed this, but I have missed this. And he's on a 3-fight winning streak. One of them was against Devin Clark and Tafon. I can't pronounce the last name, so I'm not even going to say it. Probably fuck up his first name too. But I believe I did actually watch that fight, so that was UFC Fight Night. Santos versus Ankalaev. I did watch that main event, but I'm not sure if I watched that. Oh fucking god! Because sometimes the prelims are just specific times, and sometimes those times, you ain't available. Try my best to make the main card. Last week I pretty much caught the whole card. There's been times where fight nights have just been fucking amazing. And, some of the newer guys, which there's a lot of that going on right now. A lot of newer cats popping up on the UFC scene. With a good amount of fighters, retiring. Good amount of fighters either leaving the brand or all. Oh, one big news. Y'all might have already heard it. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. That fight is happening. I believe it's actually a boxing match. It's not MMA, which they probably, could have done, one MMA, one boxing. But then again, Jake Paul is not an MMA fighter. He just started training. From what he said, he wants to fight in about a year or two or so, or some shit like that. But Nate Diaz says he's going to fight Jake the Snake Paul, and then he's going to come back to the UFC and most likely get a couple $1 million to fight Conor McGregor. The Mandem Irishman with a Lamborghini fucking boat. Yeah, Mandem owns a Lamborghini boat, which is crazy, right? I don't even know what the whole thing about a Lamborghini boat is, but I guess there's so many and people enjoy the Lamborghini boats. So I guess McGregor got himself one of those. With that Irish whiskey money. I guess Irish whiskey money can get you a Lamborghini boat, ladies and gentlemen. One of the OGs actually fighting today. Clay Guida. Clay Guida's back, ladies and gentlemen. Clay Guida fights are always, I tell you, always fun. Versus Rafa Garcia. Funny thing is, as old as Clay is and all, 38-19, no draws or nothing, no T losses, but Clay Guida was on a roll for a second. I believe he got to 3-0 or 4-0 or whatever the fuck it was. But he got there and then that train had to be stopped. I forget who the... okay, lad. Back to Clay Guida. So yeah, his fights are obviously fun. Then we got Pedro Munoz. Mandam who fought Sean O'Malley. We'll see what he can do, as in but I don't know, it's Chris Gutierrez. I don't even know who the hell Chris. I am saved, mate. Chris Gutierrez, whatever the hell that means. Chris Gutierrez, Frankie Edgar, I believe. Let's see who his last fight was. I don't know how he got 2022. Okay, his first 2020 fight is Pedro Munoz. 2022. Let's check out a 2022, ladies and gentlemen. See what the fuck he don't have. 2022. Last fight was in March. UFC 281. Fight night. Blade Duckus. So you gotta win against Frankie, and then you gotta fight win against Dan something. 12-4. So 2 in a row. I'm not sure if I watched either one of those, but actually he might be 3 in a row. Yeah. So 3 in a row, that's a good thing, I guess. Let's check out some more. This card is actually a much better than I thought. For some reason, I just got to yesterday 287. Dustin Jacoby, ladies and gentlemen. I already talked about that. Ian Cutibella. I forget when the fuck his last fight was, but we can check that out if we can. So he's fighting Tanner Boser. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Last fight, he was in the Lewis Spivak fight. I believe I watched that one, but I cannot for the life of me remember it. Lost to Johnny Walker, lost to Ryan Spann, and then I believe Spann might have faced old boy Smith, and then Smith ended up losing to... Who did Smith lose to? Oh, Smith had the injury. Smith's got Walker coming up. Let's see if that's how it actually went down. I'm not 100 if that's actually how it went down. I know Ryan lost his last fight, Nikita Krylov. The funny thing is, Ryan Spann starts off really good in all these fights and just finds a way to take the L, which sucks for him. Dang, that was a while. How long ago was it? The Anthony, holy moly, that was 2021. I cannot believe this guy's had that many freaking fights ever since. Uh, I honestly thought that was 2022. The Ryan Spann Anthony Smith fight. Holy moly, that's a long fucking time, lads. I'm lost. I'm back in 2021 or 22, or whatever the fuck the year was. Then and that's crazy, man. Years have been passing. See if there's anything else good on this card. I already talked about the Alex Pereira moving up situation. Didn't say who he'd face, and didn't bring up who he'd face, or just yet. I mean, he has the 60-day suspension, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna find something fun to do there. One fight that should be really good. I'm surprised it's not actually the main event for UFC Fight Night. I'm not exactly sure where it is, but April 22nd. Sanya Dong, a fighter that I'm always excited to see. Him versus Ricky Simon. I'm probably going to talk a little more about it when the fight comes up. Blades versus friggin' Sergey Pavlich, or I'm pretty sure his last name is wrong, the one I pronounce, or the way I pronounced it, but I believe that's a number one contender fight. I'm not 100, but that could be a number one contender fight. Bobby Green, Jared Gordon, that's the fight I was talking about. Shockingly, it's not a main event. It's actually what, like third or something? What is it? Because Bobby Green always puts on a fight. Jared Gordon, obviously, he had the situation with Paddy Pimblett and went on all these shows and just kind of talked a little shit about Paddy Pimblett. And obviously Dana White, or Dana South, don't want you talking about one of his children, or one of his children, as in, one of his chosen ones. Or one of his favorite fighters, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So if you talk about one of them, then you're most likely not going to be a co-main event guy or something like that. But wins, I guess, show something. One other thing Eugene Bateman said about the middleweight title, or just UFC titles in general, how he was like, oh, Alex Pereira didn't deserve this title shot, but most of us kind of know that, and he was talking about UFC titles and all that stuff, and he was like, oh, a fighter shouldn't be just automatically almost getting these title shots, which he's wrong about that. I 100% believe he's wrong about that, because Michael Chandler came in from Bellator and pretty much got the title shot after, 2 wins? Was in the ranking after 1. I know he was in a somewhat big promotion, because Bellator technically is number 2. But I guess if you ask the guy from 1, or, MMA 1, as in 1 championships, or whatever, I don't know, they do a whole bunch of things. They don't just do MMA. The promotion that Mighty Mouse is fighting for, he pretty much said we're the number 1 promotion, technically, because of the viewership and, because they're from Asia. And all the Asians actually watching, which makes sense, Not 100 if they're from promotions, a Chinese promotion, or what the hell it is. But obviously, Asians are going to support Asians because they're, from Asia, which ain't nothing wrong with that, Obviously, Americans are most likely going to... UFC is the biggest promotion, technically. But from what the Dana White of 1 said, it's not. 1 is the number 1 in MMA. UFC Fight Night. Anything else about that one? Nothing else about that. I could look at the light heavyweight and see what or the ranking before I go off, and see what they could give Alex Pereira. Let's look up the rankings real quick. Let's check out the line. heavyweight division real quick. Okay, light heavyweight division. Oh, Henry Cejudo Sterling. I cannot wait for that fight right there. To be honest, out of all the fights right now scheduled, is that because, Adesanya Pereira is done, Usman Edwards is over, Alexander Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira. Oh yeah, Charles Oliveira. Talking about him, he's actually dropped out. Not dropped out, or it's an injury. So we're not gonna get that Benel Dariush. That was actually one of the other fights that I was looking forward to. Now we're not gonna get that, and I mean, Benel Dariush could just fucking wait now. To be honest, I mean, or is he going to take a risk and somebody like Amran Sarukian or Gamrot? I believe he's beaten one of those two or beaten both, so don't make no sense. Or maybe somebody like Jalen Turner comes in. Did Jalen Turner actually get killed, or I'm thinking about somebody else? Or just one of those guys could probably just step in but I don't know. If I was Benel, I'd probably just go ahead and wait and let the Islam. Who the frick is Islam facing? I don't believe he's actually got a fight scheduled. Unless I'm tripping, he does got a fight scheduled. Obviously, he's dealing with the whole Ramadan thing and religious stuff. So he just got done with the Alex fight. Who the hell else would he be facing? Justin Gaethje just fought. Dustin Poirier versus Justin. Dustin versus Justin supposedly is being worked on. Michael Chandler versus. Who the hell is Michael Chandler facing? I thought the fight was. Oh yeah, Conor McGregor. How the fuck did I forget that? So yeah, I don't know what the hell they got for. I'm gonna guess it's Islam versus old boy Dariush now, or I'm tripping and something is going over my head right now. And Charles is supposed to be facing somebody else, because I thought for a second that Charles Oliveira versus Benel Dariush was the number one contender match. With Charles not being there, you'd think it's Benel Dariush versus Charles Oliveira now, which I'm cool with. I mean, to be honest, I already thought he deserved that, as in Benel Dariush already deserved that title shot, and I'm pretty sure everybody else agrees with that too. I was looking at what division was I looking at? Oh yeah, the light heavyweight division, and who Alex Pereira should fight. To be honest, in a way, the light heavyweight division, I believe a couple of other people have said, light heavyweight division is actually one of the weakest divisions, or not just weak, I mean just kind of star-wise, all around one of the weaker divisions in the promotion. Like some of these fighters, I just don't feel like I see fighting enough. Khalil Roundtree, Dustin Jacoby, Azmat, Ryan Spann. Funny thing is, a lot of these guys are actually fighting today. Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's fighting Anthony Smith, and some say that is number one contender fight. Obviously, Jiri is number one, so that makes him the person who technically a number one fucking contender. So that means he should be fighting Jamal Sweet Dream Hill, which I guess could be the guy facing him. But I thought he was going to be out for a year. I guess that's not the case. So I get Magmed Ankalaev, Jan Blachowicz. That fight already happened, and literally after that fight, we all remember the whole situation. Sweet Dream versus Glover Teixeira happened, and Sweet Dreams his dream came true. He became the champion from Detroit. So now Johnny Walker's on a run. If he can get another one, I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't get a title shot. Muhammad Ankalaev or Magmed Ankalaev, Jan, I believe it was a tie, right? So I don't know. One of those guys gets on a run too. They could end up getting a title shot. But for that, or I mean after that, I believe that was pretty much talked about the majority of the things I want to talk about UFC related or UFC wise. I don't think there's any other news other than well, it says Beneil Darius Oliveira delayed due to injury. You know, if they say that, then it's most likely not going to happen, which is whatever, you know. Even though that's a really good fight and it's one of those fights, that I'm looking for. But yeah, I believe that's going to be it for today. Yeah, Sambaton channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Have a good